So today we're gonna go over really what are like the key things that make someone who's toxic, narcissistic, unhealthy, all the things, what makes this person fall in love with another person so quickly. Let's just state the obvious, okay? And I think sometimes we need a reminder on this. This is not love. Love to them is very, very conditional. So conditional love is you need to give me this in order for me to give you that. It's like an exchange. It's like a tit for tat. It's not like a beautiful exchange of like, you respect me and I respect you and like we're just living in harmony and like I value what you bring to the table. Like I'm not trying to change you. I appreciate you for who you are. That's more heading towards that like unconditional love, real, actual love thing. If you're dealing with a toxic, unhealthy, whatever person, narcissistic person, then everything is conditional. It's based on what you give me and how I feel from what it is that you're giving me. So it's really about control. So I just want to state the obvious here that this person is not in love. So since this relationship is basically built on control and conditional love, which is I need things in order for me to feel good inside because I don't know how to fill myself up. So since that is the case, which I gotta tell you, a lot of relationships are conditional relationships. They're based on conditional love. They're not based on true love, real love, valuing of the other person, respecting of the other person. None of those things are really there. A person who is unhealthy is going to need a lot of things from this person. Because remember, if I don't know how to give myself the basic stuff, to fill myself up, soothe myself, all of the things that you're supposed to always be giving yourself. You were supposed to learn how to do this for yourself. You were supposed to learn how to fly before you left the nest. Unfortunately, this person didn't learn that and they don't know how to soothe themselves. They don't know how to deal with uncomfortable feelings. They don't have self-esteem. All of their self-esteem is given to them really or fed into them because of external things, whether it's compliments, admiration, attention. So admiration and praise is something that an unhealthy person absolutely craves. I don't care if you're talking about like an anxious attachment or avoidant attachment, like any unhealthy attachment styles, anyone who is really just toxic, dysfunctional, personality disorder type of a person needs constantly to be fed because there really is no healthy self-image where they're feeding into themselves. This admiration makes them feel special. It also gives them a sense of power and they equate both of those things with love. So that's what they think love is that you feed into me constantly. And like, don't get me wrong, yes, you should be in a relationship with someone that like, you know, loves you and praises you and thinks you're great. But where it becomes unhealthy is when there's like a line here. So you mean to tell me that I need to praise you every single time you do something that you just want to get attention from? Well, maybe you did something and it wasn't okay, or I actually don't agree with that, or I have my own opinions, or I have my own values. Like none of those things can happen when you're dealing with this type of personality because attention and praise and admiration and all those things they have to happen all the time, regardless of what I do, I being that toxic person. Now, someone who can provide all of that continuously without fret, like all the time, is a person who gives narcissistic supply or gives toxic supply or is a toxic giver or an unhealthy giver. So if you're a person that can just is a giver, an unhealthy giver, and you can give and give and give and give, the problem is this type of person is not a person that ever gives to themselves at all. So they need to be that giver to feel something from this toxic person, just like the toxic person needs to get something from that person in order to feel something. So if I give, it makes me feel like I'm enough. And if I take, then I feel enough because I'm taking from you. So now you have this like crazy dysfunctional relationship with an unhealthy giver and an unhealthy taker. This supply might include just reacting constantly to their needs and wants. You're available all the time and you're catering to this person at every beck and call, at every feeling, at every emotion. Like there's literally absolutely no boundaries. This person's job in life is to just be there for this other person. And no matter what this person does, what they say, the way they kind of carry themselves, like I will say absolutely nothing. Essentially, you're dealing with a doormat. And this is what someone who is unhealthy wants. This is what they love. This is what they crave. Every unhealthy person is going to want a few things from their partner. Maybe even it's the friend, right? This could be between friends. It doesn't have to just be like a romantic partner. It could just be like, why do I have this person around? This person to them symbolizes something. So maybe you are a beautiful person. Maybe it's like your accomplishments. Maybe it's like the status that you have in town. Like there's something about you that this person deems as worthy. So they look at you like, okay, this is a reflection of me. This reflects onto them how they look and their appearance to the world. The problem is that that image that you hold, that you don't even realize you hold, whether it is your looks or your accomplishments or your own status or whatever, you don't realize that this is like the thing that made this person really attracted to you. And this is why when we hear of someone maybe cheating or having an affair, 99.9% of the time, it's never with anyone that you're like, okay, well, that makes sense. It's always what we typically call like a downgrade, someone who maybe isn't as attractive as the last person or doesn't have as much accomplishments as the other person. It never makes sense, basically. And the reason is because that one thing that they really valued was not going to be the thing that was just going to keep them around forever and ever, because there were so many other things. Like, yeah, you brought looks to the table, status to the table, accomplishments to the table, but there were like other things that they were really craving for you to give them that you weren't giving them. And that's not a bad thing. All unhealthy people are only attracted to other people who just like go with the flow and not go in the flow in like this like feminine, submissive way, because no one should be going with the flow that much where they overstep boundaries and have absolutely no standards. They go along with their demands, their desires, their decisions, and they just don't even question one thing because they don't have any opinions. They don't have any standards. There's absolutely no boundaries. They don't know what they think. They don't know how they feel. So no need for a conversation. My job in this world is to be a giver. I gotta tell you, that's a horrible place to be, first off. Let's just say that. We may have all been that person at one point, but we definitely hit a point of exhaustion where we're like, okay, and now I'm done with being that person. Because that's not healthy. And even the most unhealthy person that may be like this, a doormat essentially, is going to hit a point of exhaustion where they're not gonna be able to take it anymore. But until then, this person unfortunately is emotionally dependent on this toxic relationship, on this person. They are seeking approval from this person. They enjoy that aspect of this person relying on them in this way, because remember, they're so detached from themselves that their sole purpose is to give, because that's how unhealed they are. And of course, every unhealthy, toxic person knows this, can smell it from a mile away. And that's exactly the type of person that they want to be in a relationship with. There's always only two outcomes too. Either you're going to be with a person where you are this unhealthy giver and you're going to give and give and give. Then you're going to wake up one day and for whatever reason, you're going to have this like awakening, epiphany, and you're not going to be able to take it anymore. You just like are transforming into a different person. Or you're going to just be this healthy giver for many, many, many years, and then you're going to get discarded. There are a lot of unhealthy people that like really love the drama. Like they love the back and forth. And this is where if you're in a relationship, like I said, there's only two outcomes really. It's either you leave the person or the person leaves you. So if the person is not leaving you and you're just in this completely dysfunctional relationship, it's because they are essentially feeding off of the drama and the emotional roller coaster ride that you guys go on. So when things are good, they're great. Then here we go, we start getting a little like unhealthy behavior. Maybe you point it out, maybe you don't. And then we go around and around in the circle of this abusive cycle that you're in. Depending on the type of narcissist that you're dealing with, and also depending on whether they're male or female, all of these things might look differently. So for example, if you're dealing with a narcissistic man, and maybe they are kind of like the breadwinner, their ego is going to be so enlarged by the fact that they hold the financial responsibility over you. And this is going to give them leverage to be able to then start hurting you and abusing you or taking advantage of you or tiptoeing on that boundary, on that line of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. If you're dealing with a man and maybe the woman's narcissistic, maybe she really wants to make money and maybe you actually enjoy the fact that she is bringing something. All unhealthy people crave being in relationships with people that can help them to get to where they want to be. And I don't want to say help them. I think it's more of this person is just straight up taking advantage of them so they can get to where they want. There is no team effort. There is no, we share the common goal. Like none of those things are happening. This is a one man, a one woman ship that's happening right now, and you're just along for the ride. And unfortunately, this is where people get very much taken advantage of. The purpose of this is for you to understand that nothing that unfortunately you did or that the next person did was ever going to be genuine. You were never going to have that genuine relationship that you wanted to with this person, nor are they having a genuine relationship with anyone else in their life, because you can't do that when you're unhealed. Like, you can't have that kind of relationship when you're unhealthy yourself, when you don't even realize how dysfunctional, how empty, and how everything in your life is just constantly filling voids. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. This just kind of helps get the message out to other people who are struggling as well. I really appreciate all the love, all the feedback. It's been so fun to be able to come on here, have this platform, help people. You know, I read your comments down below and I can't thank you enough. I don't know, it just, even someone just taking the time to like write a nice comment and just tell me about their own experience, and it just, I mean, I can't explain it. I literally am getting goosebumps as I say it. It's like the best feeling in the world. So I very much appreciate you, and I am grateful for you to allow me to even have the business that I have. You guys have honestly, I don't want to get too emotional. I might just slip into like a crying sesh here, but you guys have really changed my life in so many ways. And I'm so incredibly thankful that I'm able to have this platform and do what I was meant to do, that I love doing every single day. So I hope you guys are well. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.